John was a bigger-than-life kind of guy, physically, emotionally, mentally.
Whether it was social or business, it was the same persona of cigar in his mouth, relaxed.
You wanted to be the best version of yourself with him and for him, and he just brought that out of everyone.
John was one of the funniest people I have ever been around in my life.
His laugh was contagious and robust.
And I think he got that partly from his mom, because his mother loved to laugh.
We connected as fellow Jersey boys. He was born in Ridgewood and grew up in Franklin Lakes, and I was born in Teaneck.
So John and I were in class together. John, from the day we all met him, was a person who just has this boisterous smile. It's more than a smile, it envelops you. And then he has this really serious side. And when he's focused in on something, he's on it.
Kind of see out of my peripheral vision this young man walking up to me, walks right up into this group and puts his hand out and says, "John Medica, damn glad to meet you." So we started talking and hit it off, but I didn't date anybody after that, and neither did he. That was it.
He left Wake Forest and went to the West Coast, really without an offer at all, and asserted himself into Apple. He found the picture of the head of HR, and he basically kind of went up to the person, get out of the car, and said, "Between here and there, I'd like to tell you why you should hire me for Apple." And that's how he got the job. Now, I'm not positive that's true.
John did find who the HR person was. Of course, couldn't go in the building because you needed a badge to get in, but he got his resume in there and he got a call to come interview.
At that time, he otherwise qualified as a PhD. Poor, hungry, and driven.
It was always about people and the way technology could come in the world to make a difference. And that's what he loved to go do.
He developed relationships as much as he developed the product.
Our notebook business was struggling. John had a reputation at Apple in notebooks, and Michael made a key strategic hire to bring John on board to ultimately rebuild and reshape our notebook business, fix it.
So what looked like an impossible problem or a wicked problem, he had the ability to
break it down into smaller problems.
And he would say, "Let's create the Dr. Seuss version."
And he did that oftentimes by graphics, usually in red or blue, on a whiteboard.
So John loved to draw on the whiteboard. I think this is a pretty well-known fact.
And it helped him put information in a cohesive manner so that he could then figure out how to solve massive problems.
John Medica was more than an engineer. He also had a savviness about him and an engagement and a curiosity.
John's impact when he first showed up after a quick assessment was to cancel all of the products that were under development. He also took that a bit further and canceled all of the products that were in production.
It was about how do we build the best thing that will make a customer really want to buy our product because it solves a real problem that they have.
He always had an eye for what the final product was going to look like and wanted people to look at it and say, wow, that's cool.
He always asked those probing questions that you kind of sat there and go, why didn't I ask that question?
He wanted his team to all come together and try to understand each other's perspective and come up with whatever the best possible solution to the problem was.
John went on to rebuild and establish Dell as a notebook leader in the marketplace.
And Michael Dell went on and on about the difference he made. In fact, he said, he saved my company.
And in John's first full quarter, we shipped 589 notebooks for the whole quarter. We ship 589 notebooks every 12 minutes today. John's fingerprints are all through our industry. He helped shape and influence this industry over many, many years, and certainly built an organization that has endured the time he was here and certainly has lived on since he's left.
He wanted others to like work as much as he did.
And so the first thing he would do is make sure that it was fun.
You know, he'd kick off the meeting saying, the temperature of that battery could cook a frog. So he would use some type of what we call a Medicaism to describe a moment or a problem or a situation that was very unique.
And there's some gems he would use. Someone going down the wrong path. Be careful, you're about ready to go face first into the wood chipper. He would use that sense of humor to break the moment, to get people to regroup and rethink. And I think that was all part of what John did to make people comfortable.
John would never give you bad news or yell at you in front of other people. So what you would do is John would ask you to go with him to walk the dog. And he would tell you, you go walk the dog, sometimes because he was going to give you some confidential information that he didn't want anybody to hear, or he was going to chew you out. And we had a game of this in Breaker of watching when someone was getting walked around, because if they walked with their head down, they knew that John was chewing them out. And if they were nodding, John was sharing some news. And every time John said, hey, Dave, you want to go walk the dog? I'd be like, no, I don't want to walk the dog.
Say a group of 12 people who would get together and we'd be sitting around the campfire. But before we'd get to the campfire, we'd have dinner, and usually we drank more than we probably perhaps should have. And we'd end up invariably, at least 4 or 5 of us, in a debate about politics. The debates were just outrageously fun, screaming, hollering, but with love and real discourse. And I thoroughly enjoyed that about John because it was a civil discourse and we could laugh about our differences. I wish we could return to that. And we need more Johns in the world to help make that happen.
He has what I call cowboy ethics. When you learn, you teach. When you get, you give. And when you risk it all the time.
The image of him on the tractor in his farm is like the ultimate image of, I think, what anyone wants to be eventually. Which is why, like, a lot of us feel like it was taken, obviously, too early.
John touched so many people's lives.
He wanted everyone to do well and live a good life. And if there were ways that he could help them do that, he did.
For the people of Wake Forest, you have to be proud that he's one of yours. And I'm proud to say he was a friend, a really good friend.
I don't think he would have believed that he would have been selected. I know how proud he would be and how honored he would feel. And I think that he would immediately say things like, I'm here because of the trustees who work around me, because of the people I've worked with in my life, because of the support I've received from family. And then he would probably joke and say something along the lines of, I'm glad I didn't bring my diploma with me because I'd be afraid Nathan would take it back. And he would sort of think that. He always felt like he could do better, he should do better. It's wonderful that he's being honored this way from the school he loves so much.